10.06 Tenure of the members of the Executive Council. First, all the members of the Executive Council, other than the Vice Chancellor and Pro Vice Chancellor, shall hold office for a term of 3 years. In case of Dean, the term will be for 3 years or until they hold the office of Dean, whichever is earlier. Second, members of the Executive Council appointed by the Vice Chancellor from professor, associate professor, and assistant professor category shall hold office for a period of 1 year or till such time as they cease to be teachers of the university, whichever is earlier. 10.07 Power and limitation of the Executive Council. First, the Executive Council shall have the power of management and administration of the institution deemed to be university and the conduct of all administrative affairs of the institution deemed to be university, not otherwise provided for. Second, the Executive Council shall be the final decision-making body of the institution deemed to be university in respect of every matter of the institution deemed to be university, including in the academic, administrative, personal, financial, development matters. Third, subject to the provision of this regulation and rules of the institution deemed to be university, the Executive Council shall, in addition to all other powers vested in it, have the following powers, namely: first, to appoint such professor, associate professor, assistant professor, and other academic staff, including chairs, as may be necessary, on the recommendation of the selection committee constituted for the purpose and to fill up temporary vacancies therein. Second, to regulate and enforce discipline among employees in accordance with the rules. Third, to provide for the appointment of visiting professors, emeritus professor, professor of practice, consultant, scholars, etc., and to determine the terms and conditions of such appointment. Fourth, to exercise such other powers and perform such other duties as may be conferred or imposed on it by this regulation and rule of the institution deemed to be university. 10.08 Meeting of the Executive Council. First, the Executive Council shall meet at least 4 times a year, with no less than 7 days' notice given before every meeting of the Executive Council. Emergency meeting can be convened by giving short notice. Second, attendance by more than 1/3 of the total number of members of Executive Council shall form the quorum for a meeting. Third, in the absence of the Vice Chancellor, the Pro Vice Chancellor shall preside over the meeting, and where there be no Vice Chancellor in an institution deemed to be university, a member chosen by other members present shall preside over the meeting. Fourth, every member of the Executive Council, including its chairperson, shall have one vote, and decision at the meeting of the Executive Council shall be taken by simple majority, and in case of a tie, the chairperson shall have a casting vote. Fourth, any businessman which may be urgent in nature may be carried out by circulating among its members. Sixth, a copy of the minute of each meeting shall be furnished to the Chancellor of the institution deemed to be university as soon as possible after the meeting. 10.09 Termination of membership. If a member other than the Vice Chancellor and those representing the teachers accept a full-time appointment in the institution deemed to be university or does not attend 3 consecutive meetings of the Executive Council without proper leave of absence, such member shall cease to be a member of the Executive Council. 10.10 Delegation of power of the Executive Council. The Executive Council may, by a resolution, delegate to the Vice Chancellor or any other faculty or to a committee of officers, faculties of the institution deemed to be university, such power as it may be deemed fit, subject to the condition that the action taken by the Vice Chancellor or the officer or the committee in the exercise of the powers so delegated shall be reported at the next meeting of the Executive Council. 10.11 Other authorities of the institution deemed to be university. First, Academic Council. The Academic Council shall be the principal academic body of the institution deemed to be university and shall, subject to the provision of the rules of the institution deemed to be university, coordinate and exercise general supervision over the academic policies of the institution deemed to be university. The composition of the Academic Council shall be as under: first, Vice Chancellor; second, Pro Vice Chancellor; third, Dean of the school and head of the department center; Fourth, 10 professor, those who are dean of school and head of department center. Fifth, 2 associate professor from department center other than the head of the department center. Sixth, 2 assistant professor from department center other than the head of the department center. Seventh, 6 person of repute from among us educationist or expert for their specialized knowledge who are not in service of the institution deemed to be university nominated by the vice chancellor. Seventh, the registrar who shall be the ex officio secretary of the academic council. Note: the representation of different categories shall be only through the rotation and not through an election. The term of members other than the ex officio members shall be 3 years. The controller of examination shall be the permanent invitee to the meeting of the academic council. B. Power and function of the academic council. Subject to the provision of this regulation and rules of the institution deemed to be university, the academic council shall, in addition to all other powers vested in it, have the following powers, namely: first, to exercise general supervision over the academic policies of the institution deemed to be university and to give direction regarding method of instruction, coordination of teaching among department, faculties, school center, evolution of research and improvement of academic standards. Second, to bring about and promote interdepartmental, interfaculty, inter-school, inter-center coordination and to establish or appoint such committees or board as may be deemed necessary for the purpose. Third, to consider matter of general academic interest either on its own initiative or on a reference by a department, faculty or the executive council and to appropriate action thereon. Fourth, to prescribe courses, program of study leading to degree and diploma of the institution deemed to be university. Fifth, to make arrangement for the conduct of examination in conformity with rules by laws. Sixth, to maintain proper standard of the examination. Seventh, to recognize diplomas and degrees of university. Eighth, to institute fellowship, scholarship, medal, prizes, etc. Ninth, to frame rules covering the academic functioning of the institution deemed to be university, admissions, examination, award or fellowship and studentship. 10. To take a periodical review of the activities of the department center and to take appropriate action to maintain and improve standard of instruction. 11. To recommend institution of teaching post to the executive council. 12. To make recommendation to the executive council. 13. To exercise such other powers and to perform such other duties or may be conferred or imposed upon it by the rules. C. Meeting of the academic council. First, the academic council shall meet as often as necessary but no less than 4 times during an academic year, with no less than 7 days notice being given before every meeting of the academic council. Emergency meeting can be convened by giving a short notice. Second, 1/3 of the total number of members of the academic council shall constitute the quorum for the meeting of the academic council. Third, each member, including its chairperson, shall one vote and decision at the meeting of the academic council shall be taken by simple majority, and in case of a tie, the chairperson shall have a casting vote. Fourth, any business that may be necessary for the academic council to perform, except such as may be placed before its meeting, may be carried out by circulation of the resolution. 10.11.2 Finance Committee. A. The composition of Finance Committee shall be as under: first, Vice Chancellor; second, Pro Vice Chancellor; third, one person nominated by the Society Trust Company; fourth, 3 persons to be nominated by the Executive Council, out of whom at least one shall be a member of the Executive Council; fifth, one representative of central government not below the rank of Joint Secretary or his representative to the Government of India in case the institution is controlled and managed by central government or is receiving grants more than or equal to 50% of its expenditure from the central government directly or through its agencies. Sixth, 3 persons to be nominated by the Chancellor. Seventh, Finance Officer, Secretary ex officio. Note: in case the institution deemed to be university is controlled, managed or funded by the state government representative such government. B. Tenure of the members of the Finance Committee. All members of the Finance Committee other than ex officio members shall hold office for a term of 3 years. C. The Finance Committee shall meet at least 4 times a year to examine the account and scrutinize proposal for expenditure. One third of the total number of members of Finance Committee shall form the quorum for a meeting. D. All proposals relating to creation of posts in those items which have not been included in the budget shall be examined by the Finance Committee before the Executive Council considers them. E. The annual account and financial estimate of the institution deemed to be university prepared by the finance officer shall be laid before the Finance Committee for consideration and comment and thereafter submitted to the Executive Council for approval. F. The Finance Committee shall recommend limit for the total recurring and non-recurring expenditure for the year based on the income and resources of the institution deemed to be university. 10.11.3 Board of Studies. There shall be one board of study for each department, school of the institution deemed to be university. The composition of the board of studies shall be as under. First, dean of school or head of department. Second, all professors of the school or head of department. Third, two associate professors of the school or department by rotation based on seniority. Fourth, to assistant professor of the school or department by rotation based on seniority. Fifth, to experts to be co-opted for their specialized knowledge. Subject to the overall control and supervision of the academic council, the function of a board of studies shall be approved subject for research for various degrees and other requirement of research degrees and to recommend to the concerned school board in the manner prescribed by the rules. A. Courses of studies. B. Appointment of supervisor for research. And C. Measure for the improvement of the standard of teaching and research. Note: the power and function of the Board of Studies shall be prescribed by the rules of the institution deemed to be university. 10.11.4 Selection Committee for Appointment of Teaching Staff. There shall be one or more selection committees constituted for making recommendation to the Executive Council for appointment to the post of professors, associate professor, assistant professor, and such other posts as may be prescribed in accordance with the UGC regulation 2018 as amended from time to time. 10.11.5 Disqualification. A person shall be disqualified for being chosen as and for being a member of any of the authorities or being appointed as and for being an officer of the institution deemed to be university if A. If he she is of unsound mind, or B. If he or she is an undischarged insolvent, or C. If he she has been convicted by a court of law for an offence involving moral turpitude and sentenced in respect thereof to imprisonment for no less than 6 months, or D. If he she has not been appointed as per the provision of this regulation. If any question arises as to whether a person is or had been subjected to any of the disqualification mentioned above, the question shall be referred to the Chancellor and his decision shall be final and no suit or other proceeding shall lie in any civil court against such decision. 10.12 Officers of the institution deemed to be university. 10.12.1 Chancellor. First, the Chancellor who the sponsoring body shall appoint shall hold office for a period of 5 years from the date of first assuming office and shall not be eligible for reappointment, provided that notwithstanding the expiry of his her term of office, the Chancellor shall continue to hold office until his her successor enters upon his office. Provided further that the Chancellor in the institution deemed to be universities managed, control or received fund more than or equal to 50% of their annual expenditure from the central or state government shall be appointed by the respective government. Second, the Chancellor shall, by virtue of his her office, be the head of the institution deemed to be university and shall, if present, preside at the convocation of the institution deemed to be university held for conferring degrees. 10.12.2 Vice Chancellor. A. The Vice Chancellor shall be a whole-time salaried officer of institution deemed to be university and shall be appointed by the Chancellor from a panel of 3 noms suggested by a search cum selection committee. B. The qualification of the Vice Chancellor shall be in accordance with the UGC regulation 2018 as amendment from time to time. C. The procedure composition of research selection committee SCSC for the selection of vice chancellor shall be as under. First, the vice chancellor in the institution deemed to be university managed or controlled or receiving funds more than or equal to 50% of their total expenditure from the central or state government shall be appointed in accordance with the procedure laid down by the central government or the state government, as the case may be. Second, where the financial assistance by way of grant in aid or otherwise to the institution deemed to be university by central government or by its agencies is more than or equal to 50% of its expenditure, the vice chancellor shall be appointed as per the procedure. Third, when the financial assistance by ways of grant in aids or otherwise is less than 50% of its expenditure, the composition of research cum selection committee shall be as under. A nominee of the chancellor who shall be a reputed academician as the chairperson of the committee. B. A nominee of the chairperson, University Grants Commission. C. An academician with not less than 10 years service as professor nominated by the Executive Council. D. Tenure of Vice Chancellor. First, the Vice Chancellor shall hold office for a term of 5 years from the date on which he/she enters upon his office or until he/she attain the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier, and he shall not be eligible for reappointment, provided that notwithstanding the expiry of the said period of 5 years, he/she shall continue in office until his successor is appointed and enters upon his office. Provided further that the Chancellor may direct the Vice Chancellor after his term has expired to continue in office for such period not exceeding a total period of 1 year. Second, if the office of the Vice Chancellor becomes vacant due to death, resignation, or otherwise, or if he/she is unable to perform his or duties due to ill health or any other cause, the Pro Vice Chancellor shall perform the duties of the Vice Chancellor, provided that if the Pro Vice Chancellor is unavailable, the senior-most professor shall perform the duties of the Vice Chancellor until a new Vice Chancellor assumes office or the existing Vice Chancellor resumes the duty of his office, as the case may be.